King Noble, Black Supremacy. And with this particular video, I want to say, yes, I am God. And this is for all those individuals that are confused and something happens to them when I say I'm God. Because in their minds, they're spiritually enlightened. They have knowledge and information themselves. How can I be saying I am God? And sometimes it sounds like I'm saying God in a way where they're not, where I'm saying God in a way that is exclusive to me in particular. So in this video, I want to break that down because that's been coming up. Now, you also got your God is within me individuals where they say, God is inside of me. Now, God is within God, within God, within God, within God, within God, within the mind of God, within the mind of God, inside the mind of God, inside the mind of that God, in the mind of that God eternally. So God is within you. And for many, God is without you. The Hermetic law or principle says, as so within, as so without, as so above, as so below. So God is within you, but what's outside of you is an outpicturing of that which is within you. So God is within you, and in this case, for many of you, God is without you. But the more you realize and actualize the God that is within you and come into that energy and frequency of the God within you, you will come into the presence of the God that was without you. Because there's no separation between the God within you and the God without you. The only separation is your consciousness. Your consciousness have you without God. So the God without you is the God that you're without, which is representative of the God that you have not tapped into, which is within you. We live in a holographic universe. We are just living in a misperception of the connectedness of it all, of the unified field of it all. So when you elevate your consciousness, the more and more and more your consciousness raises, the more you start seeing God, the God without you, the God outside of you. You start seeing heaven outside of you. You start attracting God to you, the living God, the living energy and presence, and the reality of God will become your external reality as it is your internal reality, which in all due reality, there is no separation. When you was unconscious, you attracted certain people that you associated with, people that didn't care about consciousness. They didn't care about their lifestyle, diet. They care about none of this information, metaphysics, energy, frequency. They didn't care about any of this stuff. And that's who you were among. And God was without you. You didn't find God outside of you. You found fools outside of you, sleep people, unconscious people. But you still felt as though God was within you while you were associating with these unconscious people outside of you. But the more conscious and the more you embrace the God within you, the more closer you start getting to the God without you, or the God outside of you. You start attracting a different type of energy, a different type of being, and a different type of frequency to you. And that is the physical embodiment of God, because your reality becomes heaven. So if your reality becomes heaven, then that means God must be in that reality. God must be there, must be present. And not just as you can't be super conscious and into the reality of God and not be in the presence of divinity and not manifest the physical reality of God. But proof that you have not fully woke up is that once you begin to manifest the frequency of the vibration to manifest the God that was without you, or the God that's outside of you that represents the consciousness of enlightenment inside of you, you begin to shun that God because you have not fully woke up. You denounce that God. You don't want to have reverence for that God. And that's how you end up back in the old situations, when you don't have reverence for the new ones, when your life changes radically in increments and ascension happens for you and you're at a higher level of consciousness than you were before. And everything's working out for you. Divine synchronicity. Everything's in divine order. Everything's happening as it's supposed to happen on time. But you don't want to reverence that divine manifestation. You don't want to appreciate it. You take it for granted. So you end back up in the old situation. When you seek the God outside of you, or the God that was without you manifesting in your cipher, that is reflection of the God that is inside you, that is waking up, you should have reverence and happiness. You shouldn't say, oh no, that's not God. God's not outside me. I'm God. There's no other God. There's no way you could be the God. I can be the God as just as much as divine reality could be the divine reality. Just as the ascension can be the ascension, just as the manifestation can be the manifestation, I could be the God. And if it can't be that for you, the divine manifestation, divine abundance, nirvana, and bliss, if these things cannot be concrete for you, if this reality cannot be concrete for you, then that's your problem. Of course, I cannot be the God, because it is not real for you. Only the negative low vibrancy and frequency that you existed on before you woke up is the only thing can be the reality. Is the only thing that can be relevant, that can be worse, that can be real for you. To the God outside of you, or the God that was without you, could be real for you. Can you enter into the kingdom of heaven? Can you enter into the divine reality? Because when you enter in that, you're not seeing limitation anymore. You're not seeing mortals. You're not seeing lower frequency beings. You're seeing nothing but the divine manifestation of reality. So I say proudly, yes, I am God. And if you're not seeing God, if you're not in the presence of the God and the manifestation of the black God, then there's something wrong with you, because your associations are not reflecting you being in a higher state of consciousness. You're not attracting beings to you that are reflective of that you have ascended. You're attracting beings that are not representative of that. But you feel divine. You feel conscious. You feel God is within you. And that's the problem. God is within you, but God is without you. God is not manifesting outside of you. So is within, so is without. If you wake up, your that which outside of you wakes up. If you become conscious, your environment and people you associate will become conscious, and you're able to recognize that with reverence and appreciation and love and joy, that you are now in the manifestation and the presence of the true and living God, King Noble Black Supremacy. Join my website, www.kingnobleuncensored.com. Donate, don't hate.